going to talk about the situation of Botswana and diamonds, but I'm going to make it twofold. The first part will be the current financial crisis that the world is going through. In one of the recent newspaper articles, you mentioned that maybe around the second or third quarter of 2010, that is when the demand for the rough diamond will improve. How hard do you think Botswana will be hit by this financial crisis?
Again, thank you for having me here. I just came back from the Indaba conference in Cape Town, where I had the honor to give a presentation. And what I made very clear there is that there are two different issues that are being mixed together. There is the financial crisis and the hardship of the consumers, and there is a separate issue about what's happening in the diamond business. The good news is, and I really mean that the demand for diamonds from the consumers has hardly been affected. It could have been much worse. Our economic analysis shows that in the 12 months following the beginning of the crisis in October, we believe that worldwide consumers will consume about 15 to 17% less diamonds. And of course, America is a little bit harder. It's hit by about 22%. But in Europe, in the Middle East, and Japan, the market is much better. We're very fortunate. I mean, people in the world, they still fall in love, they still get engaged, they still need diamond jewelry. So our product has not been eroded by the crisis so far. So you can say, if things aren't so bad, why are we closing mines? We're doing that because of the structure of the diamond industry, the pipeline, the diamond value chain. What happens is on every level of the value chain, people have inventory. A retailer that has a store has an inventory of about 1 year of sales. So if a retailer sells 10% more, then he orders 20% more diamonds because he needs to order back what he sold, but he wants to have a higher inventory. Now we are what we call at the reverse ripple effect. What it means is that we see that throughout the pipeline, the value chain of diamonds, we have a period of destocking. On every level, there are lower stocks. In other words, if retailers in the world sell for 15 or 17% less to the consumers, they buy from industry, from Botswana manufacturers, from Motigans, from everybody else. They buy or they need at least 30 or 33% actually less diamonds. And it happens in all the levels of the diamond chain. It's for that reason that we forecast that in this year, the demand for rough will go down by about 60%. That is a lot. But as soon as the situation stabilizes, the destocking has finished and we start to grow again, we have the reverse ripple effect, and it will be a very hot and good market, because then we need to produce far and far and far more. That is the problem with the producers. In good times, it goes up very fast, and in bad times, it goes down very fast. But at the end of the day, this crisis is temporary.
We're in the early part of 2009. How temporary is it?
I believe that by the end of this year or early next year, we will see a stabilizing. We're now in a destocking and stabilizing. When I mean stabilizing, is we need to reach the point that the price of rough and the price of polished have a logical connection. If you buy the rough and you polish the rough, that you know you can sell the polished. I believe that this correction will take place during the year, and we also find the right balance with the credits, and I think that we will be back at normal business or at a normalized business by the first quarter of 2010. I think that really growth, and so we will not see before the fourth quarter of 2010.
You mentioned that the time right now is for people to reduce, for example, the mining business to reduce production. But is there anything else that can be done to mitigate the losses such that, you know, the dent is not that deep?
When you reduce output, your diamonds stay in the ground. They are still your diamonds. It's not like you have a house that all of a sudden the value is half. That you lost money, or you go to the stock market. You know, the world stock markets, they lost last year $29 trillion. The housing prices in America has fallen by $4 trillion, and they will fall another $2 to $3 trillion this year. Diamond prices have almost not fallen. I can tell you that the wholesale prices for those diamonds are now at the same level as they were at the beginning of 2008. Not so bad. Not so bad at all. But the diamonds that you don't mine, they stay from you, they stay in your ground, they come out a little bit later, and there will be more money, there will be more worth, there will be more benefit and wealth for Botswana. You should be lucky.
So right now it's just basically keep the diamonds in the ground and wait until the situation...
It is not the diamonds as something like milk or perishable or groceries that will just spoil. They really last forever. I mean, that's not a joke. They last forever. So they will come out of the ground. They come out of the ground a little bit later. So yes, now it's hurting us all. But you should be lucky. You do have the diamonds and they still are yours. Now you're going to worry already what's going to happen when the mine is depleted. You know, mining will be depleted in Botswana if we don't find another mine.
What happens if we don't find another mine? What can Botswana do that is different? Because we rely so much on them.
You know, the world has failed to find a new major class mine now for 2 decades. It's not just a Botswana problem, it's a problem in Russia, it's a problem in Australia, it's everywhere. The chances of finding a new mine, of course, are there. Mining companies spend a lot of money on exploration. Botswana is blessed that it has a partnership with De Beers. Believe me, in terms of exploration know-how, in resource evaluation, De Beers is probably the best company on earth. So your chances are much better than a lot of others. But you cannot count on it. You cannot build your future on something that may or may not happen. In the meantime, you have to do what your government has already started to do.
Which is?
Diversify.
Diversify how?
Botswana must look at the total income picture. You must look, if you sell the rough, let's say you get 100. But if you polish it into polished diamonds, then the country may get 120. If you also put it into jewelry, you may get 160. You have to look at the total yield of your resource. Now, what is happening now, and I'm concerned about it, polishing cost is higher here than in some other countries. So De Beers is selling 2 boxes. One box to a client in London, another box to, let's say, Motigans here in this factory. The guy in London sends the box to China, and with a little bit and with little cost, he has perfect goods. Here the costs are higher. There's also training. There's also a little bit more waste. There's still less efficiency, and then he has polished that he cannot compete in the market. Government has to realize that. Government, if it wants an industry, it must create the conditions that the industry will make money.
Mr. Ezen Zohar, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your words of insight. It has been a pleasure having you on the show.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.